So, yay, today, ta-da, hurrah. Today, ta-da, hurrah. Welcome to our year together. So here's some light, and here are some plants from the garden to send out to you this earth and smoke and smell and light to welcome us to do this exploration of this year together. And it was so great to talk to pretty much everyone about what we're doing. Let's take a moment and find where you've maybe already done that, where you want to be in your space. Or if you're in the recording, welcome into the recording. You can, wherever you are, for a moment, it's like that, the gesture of that hand, the earth is underneath me. And the earth is around me, this ocean of air. So it's this layer of earth. It's like this, you can almost for a moment feel that feeling of solidity of ground. And then how this is an atmosphere too, the air. And feeling and noting I'm right here. So here I am as I am. Here we are. So for a moment, feeling us like a circle. I'm here and you're there and there. Finland and Madison and Spring Valley and Toronto and New York City, Minneapolis, or here we are as we are. Of the earth, breathing the air back to the plants, taking in the air of the volcanic ash of the earth. In the flow of time, in the exact moment of our lineage, from the first dust particles swirling to create Earth, to this moment, to the dust particles that will follow. And awake, in whatever way you are awake, we are awake, to step into our dance together, our exploration. And if you aren't mute, you might want to be, just in case you don't want something overheard, but also, yeah, just to say. So today we're working with one movement this week, the curve. So I'm just gonna, for a moment, if you just let yourself, if you're doing visual, just take this in, just let yourself like see it. It's almost like see one, do one, teach one. So here's the curve. And we'll start with just a little bit of mapping to organize it and then have a lot of time to explore on our own. So if you bring your hand to the front of your pelvis, lower, like the pubic region, it's where the reproductive sexual pleasure organs are, in the base of the pelvis. So the front, it's almost like the front third of the pelvis. And it's structurally, we work with that with the arc of from foot to foot, that bony connection, foot to foot. And then bring your hand to the kind of the battering ram part of the skull, the birthing crown, this really where if you were going to use your head to push against something, and what we did initially, or many creatures to be birthed, is that skull cap where your hand just so fits perfectly your head. This flow from the ground through our feet, through that arch to the head. And this first curve, it's the tendency, well, let's just do it. If you just, maybe I'm too late for this. If you just naturally did a curve without thinking of this work, you just curled in, let that happen. Just feel the quality of curling in with no thought, with nothing of this, not the work. Just what's a curling in feel like? And an uncurling. And then we're going to bring basically 3 pieces of awareness to it to work with. So if we come here from the pubic bone to here, I notice in me, the top tends to go, I tend to leave the base away. So it can help to slightly initiate. It's the pelvis, it's that lower tail curling. And you can feel then where the coccyx, if you feel that back of the pelvis, where that comes along if you initiate. But feel for that arc of the foot. So it's like when I begin to curl, I've got the arc of the foot. I'm really pushing. I've got the earth with me and then the crown curls. So play a little with that connection a few times from how the front of the pelvis brings the back along and how the battering ram, the head curls, actively and energetic gathering or condensing. And in order to do it several times, you have to come out of it. So it's an energetic, it's now I can push into the ground and kind of push into my hand to unfold with allowing me to retain some of that tone I'm building. So I'll be quiet here to have you find how that feels. What is this and why would we spend so much time on this? And then I'll just add another piece, the other tail. The other is, if you take your hand and feel for the coccyx, which for some people can be curled up almost inside the anus, but kind of the anal region behind the perineal body, the back third, the back part of the pelvic floor, so that you could wag that coccygeal tail, and that tail connects, it's the spine, the spinal bone to the occiput, the bone at the bottom of the skull. So when we have the arc of the feet, we've got that coccyx that's allowing ourselves to have this free spine all the way up to the roof of, you could think of it just like the roof of your mouth being free, the roof of your mouth being the head. Like if you took the skull off, that the occiput would be the top bone of the spine, the roof of your mouth, almost like the roof of your mouth leading. And then that connects through to our brow. So if you feel the brow, and the brow is really connected right to that, to our figuring out and problem solving, our prediction. It's kind of like this has time in it. I got a little what's coming next. My brow and my tail is like my root, what I know, my past, my dragon's tail. So in a curl, if we've got that initiation from foot and pubic bone, and really now you can play as you're on your own with igniting from different tails. If I let my dragon's tail and that pubic bone trail, maybe you'll find some other creatures in nature to help you play with these tails, curling And then the occiput and the battering around, the birthing crown, the hood curl in. So it's almost like the big, you can feel it like the back, like a big cape wrapping or a hoodie wrapping around you. So bringing in the back where we've started with the front. So take this you can really play, you can change the shape. We're essentially working with, condensing in and opening out. So if you really want to move today, we're not going today into an arc. It's more from the gathering into coming into full volume to unfurling. Just take some time and play with the power of this and bring in any animal allies or anything in nature, like the plants that curl in and somehow know in the morning to uncurl. Let yourself, be like a kid pretending what in the universe makes these patterns of curling and uncurling. And you've got lots of time now to play with this. And you can take it to a chair or the floor, and, either today or as you explore this in the week. And as a self-teaching tool, it's really wonderful to create contracts for your, contrast. So what's a collapsed kind of curl, or how does sort of a habitual, what are the things in your life where you curl, and how could an activated curling, curling and uncurling, how is that a power? What's the use of this? And so play with lots of ways of exploring it that are flaccid, that are too tense, that are like where is the pleasure, the sweetness for you? So we're playing with this curling. This is a condensing. If you see how that goes, this condensing of the front, this gathering and expansion of the back body, and then condensing, it's like I expand, but with the energy of condensing, it's like it's not one or the other in a sense. They're both, there's a gathering in and an expanding pretty much in all movement. It's just like if I'm going forward, there's some part of me that has a backward stability, like almost like a rubber band, two directional possibility. So that's really a lot about what tone is. Tone, strength, what gives us integrity. This like just use your hand like you're kneading something. Bread can be flaccid, right? It's undertoned. It's the gluten fibers are too loose, and something can be stiff and dried out and not as it has its own property. So we're playing with this range of tone that has allows juiciness and mobility in these big directions. So for a moment, play with this as a sense of tone, like which means kind of like as I build this like a strengthening block. It's happening in utero of building my tone so that then when you are just walking through the space, sense your sense of tone. It's designed to be invisible, having explored the curling, the condensing and expanding. See how you take that for a few minutes. And on Friday, we'll play with it in various, or, you might have already done it, but the ground, the floor, this is the underpinning of almost all in the culture, core strength, the, the underlying of movements that are powerful, that are like weightlifting or anything. Without this, it's so much easier to be injured. And so you could see if that would make sense to you. That's just how it feels to me, and I'm not sure. And then, of course, the other place we'll play is how is this gentle motion in the world emotional, like the telling a story? When in my life might I curl as in bow? What does it, or if you give it different names, I'm giving it the most neutral name as exploration of move. But if I play with this as a bowing, so I'll just, you could play with the communication, the thought, spirit, metaphor. How does this movement, when you take it away from exploring tone and physicality, but let it be like your heart, when you bring that's really it, that you're coming to our soft heart, how little our open or soft heart to the degree or maybe your fierce heart, just bring your heart in, however it is today, and then play with that, like what brings me to a curl, to a bow, to an enfolding. And let that emotion flow. We don't have to hang on to it. And then what allows me, what have I gathered there in that in that feeling being play area that lets me then open up? What has happened to me? How different is my opening to the world? Having allowed myself possibility of bowing, of surrendering, of whatever it might be. So I'll be quiet for you to find the myriad. That's kind of what's coming up for me, but there are myriad reasons we do it to protect ourselves. You know, what are all the emotional storytelling potentials of this? How does it fit in your life right now? So here we are for a moment, this moment to take in, to be with, just be with, not have to do anything active, of just receiving, having spent 10, 15 minutes exploring this one simple building block of our psycho, physical, emotional interbeing with nature, this pattern that's all over the world, condensing, expanding. And if any, you can try on I am, or I allow, or I claim, or anything that bubbles up for you. So I'll stop the recording, but I'll invite you to just give yourself, instead of that, it clicks off and then I'm just done. Give yourself a little like estuary, a little transition zone. All of nature has these zones where I'm a little bit gonna go make my tea and I'm a little bit still got this in. Like be in the estuary of this material for a moment. And so I bow to you all. Thank you.